Brett Vaughn. And Brett, tonight we have UTEP and the Aggies, Utah State going at it. And what can you expect to see out of these teams? I know we haven't seen much of them this year, but coming into a big tournament, such as the regionals, that means the first game of the weekend. What do you think both teams are going to bring out firing?
Yeah, for Utah State, number 9, they have a really established identity as a program. They're going to be very physical, coming at you with all 4 lines, and really try to get you out of your own game with their physicality.
And then for Utah State, they're coming in as the number 9 ranked team in this tournament, UTEP number 12, and UTEP has made a pretty big turnaround from what we saw even just a season ago.
Yeah, very big push, first time in the program's history. They're in the Western Regionals for them. It's going to be very important for them to also play their own game, not be too worried about what Utah State's doing. Utah State's going to want you to get off your game with their physicality. For Texas, El Paso, they want to make sure that they just play their game the way they got here this season and not worry about anybody else.
And I remember watching Texas El Paso on afternoon games that we covered last year. And folks, to see them here in this tournament is really going to be a treat. They have a few marquee goal scorers on their team that have put up a lot of points. It should be an exciting matchup. As the national anthems continue here, folks, we will have puck drop in just a moment here at Oceanside Ice Arena.
Definitely will be. All these teams, only a few of them have played here at Oceanside Ice Arena, the jewel that it is, and they have to be aware of your surroundings on how the boards are going to react, as well as how high the ceiling is. That's something the players would be looking at during warm-ups. Yep, looks like it's going to end up being a tripping call against the Miners. Pardon me, it's going to be a hooking call. And it looks like it's actually going to be an offensive zone penalty for the Utah State Aggies, so it's going to be UTEP on the front foot.
And this power play begins for UTEP as they were on the early front foot. And folks, just to let you know, we are working on our scoreboard throughout the game. As you'll notice, it is currently not moving. We will give you live updates as the game progresses and apologize for any inconvenience. 18:38 left in the first, a minute 52 on the power play. Thrown from the point in front, whacking away at it. Unsuccessful was Childress. Back to the point, thrown on front. Childress trying to get a stick on it, and a good save by the Aggies.
I love how UTEP is being very aggressive, and especially in these highly contested hockey games in the playoff season, you are usually a little bit tentative. But for UTEP, I love how simple they're making it, of just collecting the puck and shooting from all angles and try to establish a goal.
The Aggies send it all the way down as they will give Coulter Pritchard a break, the Utah State goaltender. He has been an absolute workhorse this season for the Aggies, logging almost 1,600 minutes in net. That one goes off the short side of the pipe and goes into the corner. UTEP will collect. The Miners back to the point. Childress, he'll wind up and fire. Knocked down and cleared by the Aggies. Good penalty killing right now for Utah State.
Utah State, again, although they're allowing shots, they're allowing those shots out in the perimeter, making it easier for the goaltender Pritchard to be able to react and make a save.
Pivoting on the backhand is Terrace. Sliding into the slot. Trying to work it out. It's Ritchie now. As Utah State doing anything they can to get the puck out. 48 seconds left on the power play. At the point, sizing up the shot. He'll send one in. That makes it to the net. And the Miners are all over it. Utah State under heavy pressure. Button hooking is Terrace. In front and working it away. A good save by Pritchard. He pulls the net back on. As trying to get it in was Vanderswin. The net cannot be completely put back on the moorings, and that is why we have a whistle.
Looking up and down this lineup before the game, Texas El Paso have scored double-digit goals in 8 different games this year. Very impressive high-octane offense from them.
El Paso wins this draw. 20 seconds on the power play. Terrace short side, sends it down low. Back up to Sanka. He'll fire one, and that deflects off of Lallier and into the corner. They can't clear it, the Aggies. The Miners get it back into the slot. A good deflection. And that finally gets out as Utah State will go and get a partial change as the penalty expires. A good power play for the Miners, but nothing to show for it. A few key saves from Pritchard. O'Brien now ahead. It's a 2-on-1 for the Aggies. Looking for the shot, trying to go far side, and squeezing the glove was Campbell on a hard wrist shot from the assistant captain of the Aggies.
Tough play by Keegan O'Brien for the Aggies to be able to take that hit on his own blue line, to be able to get that puck off and allow his teammates to go for a 2-on-1 odd man rush. You have to pay the price, especially in these highly contested hockey games, and O'Brien did just right there, helping his teammates out.
And coming down, that was Lubin on the 2-on-1 chance with the shot. He was trying to find his 9th of the season. A productive season for Gavin, the Anchorage, Alaska native. 21 points on the year in 33 games played. We are 4 minutes into the first period of this opening stanza of the opening game of the Western Regionals, as that's kicked away. 0-0 is the score. Back to the point. Childress looks for the shot and swallowed up by Pritchard, as Childress has been all over those shots from the point.
Yeah, finishing off that point of UTEP with that high-octane offense, you can definitely see why, because every time they're in the offensive zone, and they have a clear shooting lane, they're going to get that biscuit to the net, and that's where good things happen, either scoring on the first chance or most likely on the second chance opportunity off a rebound.
Aggies trying to clear, and once again throwing it into the netting is the Aggies defense. As you can see, some of the players smiling, Brett, as they know that this isn't their normal barn.
Yep, just like the beautiful movie Beauty and the Beast, it's a tale as old as time, these low ceilings here in Oceanside.
A good knockdown by Simpson, and he'll throw it back in as Pritchard gloves it down and hands it off to Ball. Jonathan Ball sends it forward, a good pass, and trying a shot from the point. That's an easy save for Angus Campbell. As it was McKechnie who was trying the long-range bomb. In the draw, Simpson will line up. Kicked out for the Aggies was their centerman. Replacing him is Drew Decker. That'll work its way back to the point. Ball tries to fire a quick one. It's blocked by the Miners. And out into the neutral zone. Fernandez pivots and throws it in. And now UTEP can restart as we are 5 minutes gone in the first period. Our first icing of the game, and maybe a chance for the Aggies to get a little something going, Brett, as so far it's been the Miners coming and coming time again.
Yeah, Utah State, they have not been able to really establish anything so far in this early set of the period with the tired group out for UTEP. It's a great opportunity to do so.
The Aggies win the draw, trying to get it into the slot was number 23, Kirk Vliet, but coming the other way now. The Miners would like to answer that chance as Witter threw it to the far side. He gets it back into the slot. Back to the point, thrown in front. Pritchard scrambling around as it was a hard wrister from Kopinski. Coming back, a 2-on-1 for the Aggies. Waiting, getting it to his man, and he scores! Josh Kirkvliet gets the first goal of the Western Regionals, and it's 1-0 Aggies.
It was Utah State again catching him off the rush. And guess who again? Keegan O'Brien being the man able to dish the puck over for that one-timer opportunity. And that has allowed the Aggies to get the first goal of this hockey game.
And the Aggies coming right back. That's sticked away into the corner as Childress levels two players in one motion. The big defenseman laying the body, but the Aggies coming back with a chance of their own, and that's saved by Angus Campbell. And Brett, I think you could say that that goal was the definition of coming against the grain.
Yes, definitely it was when they were cutting across and getting that opportunity from that transition from their own defensive zone, the Aggies did, and was able to have a quick one-timer opportunity, not wasting any time with that puck move in the offensive zone.
That goal came on only the third shot on goal of the game for the Aggies. The Miners, on the other hand, already have 11 shots on net. As you can see, the Aggies really embracing the bend but don't break. Some good early defense and a timely goal, and now it's the Miners coming from behind. The lengthy Terrace working his way in the offense zone, but he loses the puck, and now the Aggies will try to sort it out. The Miners forechecking hard as they have three men below the dots. And a good forecheck it is as the Aggies have to send it back, and Childress can break it out. Into the corner as the Miners get a partial change. 1-0 Aggies. 6:30 passed in the first period. A good clear back to Childress as we've called his name more than a few times. As he misses a hit on Decker. Decker now a good job bodying him away by Vanderswin, but the Aggies continue. Ball throws a wrister, and that deflects off of Vanderswin up into the netting.
Utah State looks like getting that momentum back after that big key goal leading at 1-0. And really that helps in those momentum swings. Although it can work against you, usually the team that does score that first goal is able to get a little more jump to their step, but also too allows the whole game to really be played wide open after that first goal has been scored already.
Coming in now for the Miners, trying to open it up is Simpson. Decker now from his knees will try to play it to his forward. And you heard the bench for the Aggies up in arms roaring as it was Decker who was down on his knees and took a hard check, Brett, and that's going to be a penalty to the Miners.
Yeah, really no need. It looked like the Utah State player already fell down after he evaded a check and got the puck dumped in. But for whatever reason, while that Utah State player was down, the UTEP Miners player ended up still coming and finishing off his check.
As the referees in their crease, we'll talk this one out. Some very seasoned officials, Brett, this is about the most experienced group of refs we've seen from a collective this season, broadcasting all of the Arizona State Division I games. So you know they're trying to get the right call made.
Yeah, in terms of the actual rush of the play and with the spirit of the game, there's really no need to finish off your check because that man's already counted for as he's already down on the ice. So you can't really have a legitimate reason on why you need to finish off your check there when the guy is already down on all fours.
And that is officially a 2-minute roughing, Miners, so evading any sort of a major penalty is Carlo Witter. As the captain for the Aggies gets an explanation. He's pleading his case as the Aggies surely wouldn't mind a 5-minute power play, but they'll have to settle for 2.
Yeah, again for UTEP, you can feel the tide of the momentum already changing in Utah State's favor after that first goal. And you're just adding more fuel to the fire on taking an unnecessary penalty, putting your team again behind the 8 ball and could be down 2 goals after this power play.
12:44 left in the first period. Aggies up 1-0, trying to add to it on this power play opportunity. As the linesman gets his orders, drops it. And the Miners off to a good start. They clear it all the way down the ice. Simpson, the lone man, in on the forecheck. He'll now swap with Ritchie. As Ritchie almost dislodges the puck. But the Aggies get it ahead. As Fernandez brings it in, it's Lubin who's offsides. Cutshaw a little late onto the ice. So he dropped the puck. Another win for the Miners.
Utah State a little bit lackadaisical on this 5-on-4 opportunity. I think taking it a little too easy because they think with that odd man opportunity they have during this power play that they don't have to work as hard.
In the offensive zone now. Kirk Bliet, Lubin down there. The puck eventually works its way to the net and will be covered by Campbell. And with 1:15 left on the power play, Utah State might have a chance on this offensive zone draw. But, Brett, we've seen it in many games throughout the season. A good penalty kill can really be a catalyst for your team to turn it around, and that's exactly what the Miners would like this to turn into, as they will have a chance to get another clear. And they will, in fact, do that. The Miners right now penalty killing very well.
Again, not that much rhythm by Utah State being able to be established on this opportunity.
No rhythm. In fact, now the Miners might have a shorthanded chance, but just skipping over the stick of Ritchie was the pass from Simpson. The Aggies throw it all the way down, and it will be covered once again by Campbell.
Again, even to be fair to UTEP as well, they haven't really had to do too much because Utah State hasn't been really asking or challenging or really putting any pressure on their defense during this penalty kill opportunity. But again, it's something that UTEP could definitely build confidence from if they can keep them off the scoreboard.
Back to the point. Trying to make a pass, but it couldn't connect, and O'Brien will restart. O'Brien with speed into the slot, across. Looking for the shot, a good block in front of the net by Duncan for the Miners. And as the Aggies touch up a penalty assessed.
Yep, looks like it's going to be an interference call on that official that was in the offensive zone as he smoothly skates in and announces the call. And it's going to be given to Utah State. It's going to be number 9, Walton, heading to the box. And where a seemingly poor power play opportunity couldn't get any worse, they end up taking a penalty in the offensive zone during it. And it's going to allow UTEP to hop back on the power play in about 16 seconds.
4-on-4. Duncan now for the Miners. To Sanka. Sanka tries to get it down low. The Aggies doing a good job winning the battles along the boards, as neither Sanka nor Terrace could do anything with the puck. And the Aggies will shoot it down. They are now shorthanded, so no icing. Terrace for the Miners. Tries the toe drag. Second hand opportunity. Kicked away into the corner by Pritchard. In front, looking for the redirection. Short side banging away. As the Miners get a good offensive chance, Pritchard answers. Terrace. Down low. Sanka. Can't get it in front. He'll chase it down. He'll send it back to the point to his brother. Down low, it's Terrace. As he meanders behind the net, trying to get a pass into the slot. As he had Jonathan Sanka there, that would not go. And it's sent down by the Aggies. 40 seconds left on the power play.
Utah State again keeping the Miners out to the perimeter. And with the Miners not being able to establish any penetration in the offensive zone, it's not putting the Utah State Aggies under any pressure. It also looks like we're going to have a unicorn of a power play call, as it looks like Utah State was very undisciplined in making a change, and it's going to be too many men on the ice. It also ended up being flagged down by the linesman, which is one of the only penalties a linesman can actually call.
So we go back to 4-on-4. The Miners in their own end. Kopinski. They work it up. And it's now Simpson in a 1-on-1. Simpson makes a move. Short side, it's off the post! As Childress lays a big hit on Cutshaw right after that 4-on-4 opportunity. Goes begging for Simpson. And the Aggies come back now, a 2-on-1. Getting it across to Decker. He gets it, fires, and it works its way right over the net. As Campbell gives a good whack to the Aggie forward in front of the net. Chaos at both ends. And now with just under 9 minutes left, we have a 1:10 power play opportunity for the Miners. Pardon me for the Aggies as that bomb goes wide of the net. Back to the point, keeping it in is Fernandez. Fernandez, that one goes harmlessly wide. Picked up by Kirkliet. He passes, winding up and firing just wide as Campbell never saw it. Kept in by the Aggies. In front. That chance wouldn't go. A diving attempt by Childress to get it out. He cannot. Good effort by the Aggies as they're turning it on. Trying to increase their lead. That'll be sent all the way out. Ball can't stop it. And the Miners can change behind the play.
Ends up being a hand pass, it looks like, on the Aggies. And that's going to allow a whistle, but also no change for the Aggies since they committed it.
The Aggies corral it off the draw. And with 7:30 left in the first, we are back to 5-on-5. And it's still a 1-0 lead for Utah State. Farr will send it ahead, trying to find McKechnie. And the Miners just keep it in. Sanka behind the net. Around, he was trying to get Terrace. Didn't have enough mustard on it. As Matthew Sanka wins that stick battle, but the Aggies will send it all the way in. Campbell gloves it and drops it down. Sanka rides off the forecheck and sends it in as the Miners get a partial change. Simpson in now, but that's just offsides with 6:32 left in the first.
There goes a chance begging for the Miners, as it was Simpson having to be a little more direct when he's going to the offensive zone of not overhandling the puck and gaining the blue line. And then once you're in the zone, then that's when you're allowed to have a little more freedom and be able to make a little more puck movement on your stick.
The Miners trying to be direct and get some pucks to the net right now. The Aggies, though, used that first goal as a way to gain a foothold into this game, as it was all Miners early. And right now you see the Miners just struggling to get back on the offensive, as this smaller Utah State team very quick. Witter trying to get in behind Ball. He'll shoulder him off, throws it in front, no one there. Simpson will chip it into the corner. Ritchie lays a check. He gets the puck. Ritchie reversing, pauses, finds his man in front! And a good save by Pritchard, as it was Carlo Witter all alone in front of the net.
Ended up being a good read by Pritchard of not being able to locate where that pass is going to come from behind his net, as he doesn't have eyes in the back of his head as far as I know. And when that puck ends up getting centered in front of the slot, he was able to react quickly and cut down the angle.
5:54 left in the first. It remains 1-0 Aggies. O'Brien. He chips it past one defenseman and takes a hard check. A whistle by the linesman, as he deemed it to be a high touch.
Looks like the puck, since it was touched by an Aggies player, it's going to go all the way back down their own zone since they played it.
Lallier in the draw for Utah State. He'll lose it to Noah Vanderswin, as that gets chipped into the corner. Kept in, throwing it in front as it goes over Pritchard. Blauer can't find his man. Walton will go in after it, and Walton will win the puck. He'll send it back down low. Blauer Up to the point, a good read, however, by Vanderswin, and he'll break it out for the Miners. Sending it in behind. Perez, the first one after it. Drop to the Vanderswin, into the slot. Some good defense by the Aggies. They'll clear it out. Lallier building up some speed. Drops it to Blauer. He'll fire. But he forgot the puck. And it goes harmlessly behind the net. Speaking of Blauer, he'll get into it right in front of the net. And Brett, I think we might have a couple coincidentals.
Yeah, it looks like I think they're talking a little too much about which spring training baseball game they wanted to go to here in Arizona, as it is spring training season for Major League Baseball. And it looks like they'll have some more time to be able to plan it when they're sitting in the box for 2 minutes.
Cutshaw wins it. Decker will clap one in. 4:45 left in the first. As we stay 5-on-5 hockey. Matthew Sanka in the offensive zone. He was trying to find his brother Jonathan, but Utah State clears it out. Decker after it. A good effort as he tried to get it to Cutshaw in front. And Cutshaw sent it back to point Fernandez. Over to Ball. Ball, a quick pass, and they score! A great heads-up play by Ball as he makes the pass into the slot, and Cutshaw makes it a 2-0 Aggies lead.
Great puck movement in the Utah State zone. Again, if not wasting time with the puck on their stick, one-touch passing in the zone, and that's not going to allow Texas El Paso to be able to have the correct defensive coverage they need with that puck moving so quickly. And ends up finding Cutshaw right in the high slot, and that's prime scoring area, and it's 2-0 Aggies.
And that's a 2-0 lead for Utah State late in the first period. And folks, looks like the referee blew his whistle, waved his arms almost as if he was going to wave it off. But it appears now this goal will stand for the Miners. And just like that, it's 2-1, Brett.
Ends up being Kevin Duncan getting the goal from the back end as he was able to hop into the play with that established forecheck by UTEP. And with the hard work down below the goal line, they're able to cough that puck up, and it squirted right out in front, and Duncan was able to jam it in.
And just like that, all the momentum was in the Aggies' favor, and the Miners come back with a quick answer as the PA announcer here at Oceanside Ice Arena didn't even have a chance to finish off his Aggies summary. And we're back to a 1-goal differential. Kept in by the Aggies, the slash at it, as Simpson one-handed chopped it, but Pritchard was able to collect it. 3:20 left in the first, and Brett, this game's had a little bit of everything so far.
Yeah, it definitely has. Both teams know what's on the line with this single elimination tournament of trying to stamp their ticket to Frisco, Texas for the Nationals. And UTEP's really noticing on when they're being very aggressive on the forecheck, Utah State's susceptible of coughing the puck up with their own defensemen.
Simpson on his strong side. As they work it in front, Pritchard had the paddle down. And he'll stop it as that's the 19th shot of the game already for the Miners.
And definitely a lot of rubber going to the way of the goaltender Pritchard for Utah State. But if you ask most goalies, they're actually willing and happy if they can face more rubber during the game, because that makes them a little more into it rather than a goalie just sitting back there having no action and making only 1 or 2 stops throughout the whole game.
Lallier the other way for the Aggies. He'll throw it in front, and that redirection is stopped by Campbell. As both Campbell looked back, the forward looked back, and even the referee looked to take a peek into the back of the net to see if the puck was in it. but a good save by Campbell as he makes sure his team stays within one.
A lot of chances off the rush coming from Utah State. It's not really too much speed. It's how well they're able to react and figure out which line mates and which teammates are coming in to the rush and be able to involve with them and use them as an outlet in order to create a scoring opportunity.
.245 left in the first. That shot, a headhunter, goes over the net and rims out. Duenas will bring it back. He'll throw it on. Pritchard with an easy glove save. And with 2:37 left in the first, I'd like to thank Tom Carlson for tuning in and reminding us the scoreboard, unfortunately, right now is not working. We are actively trying to get it going, but we'll give you updates as often as we can. We thank Tom and every single one of you for tuning in for this Western Regional matchup. Niall Cooper here alongside my partner Brett Vaughn. And it's been some great hockey here in the first period of this long weekend, where we will see countless games Thursday, Friday, and Saturday here at Oceanside Ice Arena. A good chip. The Aggies bring it in. Cutshaw will wind up, fire one short side, and Campbell's there to answer.
Again, back and forth game so far, as both teams have had their pros and cons to their game, and both showing that they can get scored on and also be able to score goals as well. Really even matchup with basically number 9 and number 12 pretty much even in the seeding.
Back to the point, trying to fire that one. Doyle couldn't get it through. A lot of bodies in front of the net. The Miners backhanded around on the half wall is Dominic Terrace, as he'll send it back behind the net to Kopinski. And Kopinski fires one, almost catches a few patrons up in the stands, as they need to keep an eye out for flying pucks.
Oh man, almost a foul ball opportunity there, cracked off the bat from the UTEP player, and he just fired one. Luckily, there's only a few people in that section here at Oceanside tonight, and ends up getting a puck souvenir for a lucky fan.
Yep, right into left field. Brett, all these references to the Cactus League. I just want to get out there and catch a game. Some beautiful weather in Arizona right now, folks, as we wish you could be here, but we're glad that you are tuning in and vicariously living this game through us and enjoying all the action. The Aggies in the corner. That'll get back to the point, activating his far. He'll wind one up and fire it short side off the back of the net. Allier back to Doyle. He'll dust it off and send it behind the net, as we're down to the last 80 seconds of the first period. Terrace can't get a stick on it, and it'll go all the way into the corner. As Doyle got it, it looked to be icing, waved off at the last second by the linesman, a bit of a late call. And that allows the Miners to get in after the forecheck. But it'll be the Aggies now who send it down off the deflection. 60 seconds left in the first period. A 2-1 lead for the Aggies. O'Brien. He'll get it to Josh Kirkliet, and he'll fire it in front, and they score! The Aggies with their third goal of the game, as the Miners plead for a kicking motion. But it appears that this goal will also stand, and it's 3-1 Utah State.
Good things happen when you throw that puck and you have 2 or 3 guys heading to the front of the crease just see if they can pick up a rebound, but this time ended up going off the skate of O'Brien, as UTEP was bargaining that it was a kicking motion. The referees are talking about it a little bit, but it looks like this goal is going to stand, and a backbreaker for the Miners to give up a goal with under a minute left in the end of this first period.
As the referees huddle inside their crease, Kevin Duncan was over there demonstratively demonstrating a classic kicking motion, trying to plead his case to the referees, as the El Monte native for El Paso surely wants that one waved off. The referees decide that's going to stand. No kicking motion deemed on the play, and a big goal for the Aggies as they restore their 2-goal lead with 45 seconds left in the first period. Simpson gets it forward. Back to Simpson. He'll fire one. Pritchard kicks it out into the corner. Witter couldn't get it. He'll eventually find its way back to him in the corner. So Witter goes in the slot, that off of his skate. 10 seconds left on the clock. The Miners try to work it in front. Nobody there. O'Brien on the half wall. He'll try to clear it. The Miners maybe one more shot. And that deflects into the netting as time expires. And Brett, just an absolute backbreaker at the end of the first for the Miners. That surely has to take some of the wind out of their sails.
Yeah, definitely. UTEP looked like they were crawling back in the hockey game after they got that first goal to cut the lead down to 2-1. But when you're giving up a goal either at the first minute of a period, or at the end and the last minute of a period, it's always a backbreaker in terms of momentum trying to carry it in through the intermission.
And as we go into this first intermission, it is the UTEP Miners 1, the Utah State Aggies 3. We will be back in 15 minutes, folks, for the second period. Don't go anywhere. This is Western Regionals hockey. I got it. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Oceanside Ice Arena. I am Niall Cooper. My partner in crime, as always, is Brett Vaughn. And we are back for some second period action here in the first game of this Western Regional Tournament weekend. The Utah State Aggies come back out holding a 3-1 lead. And Brett, the UTEP Miners are going to do everything they can to get back in this game early.
Yeah, it was back and forth in that first period as Utah State ended up drawing first blood. And it looked like UTEP was going to be able to come back near the end of that period, but it was a backbreaker, couple of goals by the Aggies to have this lead of 2 goals heading into the second period.
Miners having a little trouble getting out of their zone. And now Lubin will just backhand it into the corner for Utah State. O'Brien after it. He gets a hard ride from Kopinski. It's Simpson now emerging as the puck carrier. Simpson trying to feed it into the slot. Kopinski will fire. Simpson a second opportunity. He couldn't find anyone in the slot. And now Utah State will bring in the offense zone. 2 on O'Brien. Saucing one across. And they score! Kirk Vliet with his second of the game. And Utah State's up 4-1.
Again, that Achilles heel for UTEP on the rush when Utah State come to their own zone. They're waiting too long and trying to pick up what defensive assignment they're supposed to have. It ends up leading to a 2-on-1 once Utah State finally got it into the offensive zone. And now with scoring that goal with just about 53 seconds into the second period, it's again another big goal for Utah State in the swing of this hockey game, and it's 4-1.
The captain getting on the board once again. As coming into this weekend, Kirk Vliet leads the Utah State Aggies team in scoring 49 points on the year. And he's already added a few more tallies to his total. And Utah State with a comfortable 3-goal lead early in the second period. The Miners certainly have their work cut out for them now. And Matthew Sanko will try to get something going. He'll fire a quick one. And there to answer is Pritchard.
Yeah, again, unfortunate for the goaltender, Angus Campbell, of him trying to stretch from post to post as that pass ended up getting through his defenseman, where the defenseman did a good job of making sure to take that pass away, but he didn't do a good enough job of trying to actually go through that and attempt that task.
And some credit to Keegan O'Brien, the Fairbanks, Alaska native, for getting that pass across. As he knew he had a quality goal scorer on the other side in Kirk Vliet, and all he had to do was get it to him. And he did just enough. Duncan in his own end, as he'll retreat back behind Campbell. Sanka button hooks, will go up the left wing. Duncan goes up the right wing, nobody there. The Miners will try again. Vanderswin across the blue line, just keeping it in. Vanderswin on it once again, looking for the pass. A good diving block to the far post, and what a save by Pritchard. Oh my goodness. And Utah State keeps that 3-goal lead thanks to their goaltender.
The Juneau, Alaska native is asking, Juneau just made that save right now. Coulter Pritchard made the save. An unbelievable one at that. Again, not the biggest goaltender, 5'8", 150 pounds, but he ended up moving across and anticipating that pass to come over to that weak side of his net and was able to use his athleticism and make a beautiful save.
And tip of the cap to Vanderswin, who had to work very hard second, third effort, he managed to get that pass across. But Pritchard was there to answer the short side shot. The Aggies will just dump it in. Campbell knocks it down and drops it to Simpson. Simpson fires one all the way down the ice. A great pass. UTEP in on sides, firing one to the far post, and low was Ritchie. Another save by Pritchard. Lubin pauses, trying to pass it. A slow roller gets past Simpson and now in the offensive zone. Lubin on it behind the net. Simpson giving chase. Lubin drops it. Witter now bumped up against the boards by O'Brien, and the puck will work its way to the blue line. Simpson a little lazy, can't get it out, but Kopinski skates up and pokes it out for the Miners. 16:25 left in the second period, a 4-1 lead for the Aggies, as they have certainly made use of all of their offensive chances tonight. Simpson whacking it behind the net. Lubin will try to clear it out. He will, as the Aggies get a partial change. O'Brien comes in, a great hip check to clear out the front of the crease by Dominic Foggia. UTEP can't do anything with it in the offensive zone, and the Aggies will just get it deep. McKechnie in behind. Duncan the first one to the puck. He'll chip it forward, can't find anyone. So Utah State coming in waves right now. Some uninterrupted hockey. We haven't had too many whistles in this middle frame. We'll see if that continues. Vanderswin will dump it in past Pritchard behind the net. Trying to get to it for UTEP was Dwayne Sabin. Couldn't get there. And a bit of a lackadaisical play as Foggia turns it over. Campbell will have to cover that one up. And with 14:58 left, it's still 4-1 Utah State. And Brett, we thought it might be the Miners early on taking it to Utah, but they played that bend but don't break defense, and they've really managed to take that and turn it around and play a heck of a game.
Yeah, Utah State showing their speed, coming through out of their own defensive zone, through the neutral zone, building it up, and then the offensive zone on the rush is where they've been getting most of their opportunities for this game today. And for UTEP, maybe committing a little too many numbers forward, as well as not brushing up well enough on their defensive zone coverage off the rush, has been allowing Utah State to have this lead.
Chipping it around. Terrace tries to clear. The Aggies keep it in. Childress giving a hard ride in the corner. I certainly wouldn't want to get on his bad side, Brett. Childress clocks in on the score sheet at 5'10", but he certainly packs a lot in that 5'10", a very powerful man, as he has been delivering big checks for UTEP all game. And some good defense allows the Miners to come back out on the offensive. And a whistle behind the play will stop things. It looks to be a penalty assessed. 2 minutes for interference is the call.
As the Utah State Aggies player heading to the box. And it's going to be Walton again for his second 2-minute minor of the game. It looked like it was an interference call because Walton was trying to fight for position on the back check, trying to help out his defenseman. A little too aggressive of standing in the way of the Miners player, and that ends up allowing UTEP to be on the power play.
Miners with the man advantage. They'll have to start from their own end, however, as it's cleared all the way down. Campbell in the corner does a good job to work it. Falling behind his own net is Simpson, and the Aggies now shorthanded. Try to get a chance. Wouldn't go, and Ritchie is now in on the offensive for the Miners. Ritchie takes a hit, gets it back to the point. Witter on it. Witter sends to Kopinski in the slot to Simpson. A good idea. Simpson wasn't ready for it, but the Aggies can't clear. Pritchard gloves that one down. And a good save shorthanded by the goaltender.
UTEP again, once they get in that offensive zone, they had some nice puck movement, a little too slow for my liking. But again, I do like the way they've been getting to the puck to the net with traffic in front, and with Coulter Pritchard being really on his game tonight, you're going to need to get in his way and get traffic in his eyes.
That's sent all the way down. And with a minute left on the power play, the Miners will restart. A behind the legs move by Simpson. He gets past two now. Simpson in the slot. Throws it in front as he had Childress making a move from the point. That pass couldn't connect. And they'll come in once again. Ritchie, Simpson, back to Ritchie. Across, he had Witter, wasn't ready, couldn't corral it. Pritchard closes his legs around that near post and knocks the net off in the process. As the Miners connecting a few passes, almost getting a good chance on goal.
Miners are just going to have to keep staying the course and keep digging at that lead. They're doing the right things, and again, keep applying pressure onto Pritchard. And then I think they've been doing a better job as well this period of making sure there is second chance opportunities, not just throwing a puck up and making it able to be easy saved by Pritchard and to be able to just glove it down and freeze the puck, but have to force him to make a save and then react to the rebound.
A good clear by the Aggies. Sanka up to Duncan now. Duncan looking for the pass. Didn't find anyone, so he'll send it behind the net. He has it at the point. Over to Sanka. Sanka to Duncan. He'll fake it. Now sends it over to the other Sanka. Jonathan through the slot. Vanderswin now. Down low. Back up to Duncan. He'll wrist one, and he scores! Duncan with an absolute bomb of a wrister. And the Miners get on the board. It's 4-2.
Again, it finally paid off for the Miners. They just kept working and working. And finally, one of those point shots with traffic gets through. Duncan was able to pick the far side corner on the blocker of Pritchard. And that allows UTEP to cut this lead to now 4-2 in this hockey game. Again, nothing special. Just a good job by Duncan to recognize he had the traffic in front and to make sure to get that puck through and not have it blocked.
Kevin Duncan, that's his 12th goal on the season. He's certainly providing a lot of offense this season for the Miners from the back end. And that's a big goal for the Miners, as they can now work themselves back into this game. The Aggies trying to have something to say. O'Brien does a windmill move around Childress, but he cannot continue. And coming back the other way, it's Simpson. He'll fire one, and that goes off the pipe. A wicked wrister from Simpson fooled Pritchard, but his best friend was there to bail him out. Pritchard way out of his crease as they're digging away at it. And the whistle is blown as the referee loses sight of the puck.
Utah State did just enough as Pritchard was a little too aggressive, ending up butterflying out of his own crease, trying to find that puck and freeze it. But for Utah State or any defensive player right there in front of the crease, your goal is to really just pick up a man and tie up his stick to make sure to not allow him to, if he ends up finding that loose puck and no one there to get there, you're able to lift his stick away because you can't kick the puck in and end up scoring.
Both teams get a change. Offensive zone draw, win for the Miners. They can't keep it, as Simpson had a hard stick check. He'll get back after it. Fernandez Pass one, can't get past another. Diving to keep that in was Witter. Witter after it once again. The Miners pushing hard as they have a little bit of momentum and trying to make use of it. Simpson trying to fire it into the slot. Aggies, a good clear. And a hard check by Cutshall as he drops Calderon behind the play. A clean hit, but a big one. Going around the net, head up, looking for it. Fernandez across to the point. And that redirects across the net. As the pass came to McKechnie, it hamstrung him a little bit, Brett, but the Aggies still getting a chance off that play.
Campbell did just enough to fight the puck. Again, it's so hard for a goaltender to either have traffic in your way, but also to end up getting a deflection touch. That time, a deflection from the Utah State player was just in front of his crease, and he has to react right away, and it's so tough trying to be able to read that inconsistent bounce from the puck.
Witter wins the draw, but he can't get it out. Kept in by Kerkvliet. Campbell has to nod that away. As we are at the midway point of the game and of the period. The Aggies pushing back after a Miners goal off the stick of Kevin Duncan. O'Brien, first one to it on the half wall. He'll send it down low. Lubin after it. Kopinski, a good job to get it out of the zone. But it's heaved back in by Grieber. The bench telling the forwards for the Miners to get it deep. So Miners have looked their best, forechecking hard in this period. Lauer now getting the loose puck at the point. He fakes the shot, chips it in behind. Panic after it. Lauer helps him out. And heaved into the netting by the Miners. That will result in a stoppage in play. No change for UTEP.
Utah State's had a good few minutes in their offensive zone of being able to, again, establish that forecheck, keep UTEP pinned in their own zone, because they've been able to really, once they get aggressive and on that forecheck, be able to cause those turnovers and those chances.
Ball at the point, looking for the redirection in front. Couldn't get it. Duncan just trying to get it out for the Miners. He'll get it to his forward. Will now work ahead to Vanderswin. Vanderswin pass two, trying to get around the third. He does a good job. He'll backhand it into the slot. But behind the play, UTEP was getting a partial change and nobody there. Duncan gets it up to Jonathan Sanka. He'll chip it in behind the net. Lauer to Fernandez. Fernandez forgot something in the slot. Now UTEP, and that's a good block right in front of the net by the Aggies. As UTEP pounced on a turnover and nearly got a great offensive chance, but Ball was there making a huge block right in front of Pritchard. Doyle, fresh off the bench, keeps it in at the point. McKechnie, downloaded Decker, back up to Doyle. Doyle, and that just came across the blue line, offsides.
Defenseman Jonathan Ball for the Aggies made a great defensive play in his own zone, as once that puck was coughed up by his teammate in the corner, he was able to react quickly and read that it was going to float over to that UTEP player in the high slot, and he was able to go down on both knees and be able to pay the price in front. And again, it's those plays that help you secure and win victories in the postseason.
Farr tries to get it out of his own end. Runs into a check from Ritchie. Lipinski at the point. Short side, Pritchard with a paddle down. And the net will again come off. Another staple of Oceanside Ice Arena.
It's been a great turnout so far for only our first game here at Oceanside Ice Arena for this Division II Men's Western Regional. We say thank you so much again for tuning in tonight to Arizona State Hockey YouTube's page, and please make sure to hit that subscribe button to not miss out on any future regionals games coming this year.
In the slot, can't get the shot as Pritchard sticks it away. And that will be an icing against the Aggies.
And if you're just a fan as well of just hockey in general, if you're a neutral fan, you've got to be loving this action right now and how competitive it really is. The West region, one of the toughest regions year in and year out of the ACHA Division II level. Showing no signs of stopping that for this year.
Ritchie. Picked up by Simpson, back to Ritchie. Ritchie shoulders off a check, gets some help from Simpson, back to Ritchie. They play pitch and catch down low. Kopinski activates from the point. O'Brien trying to get it out. Second chance effort, he will, with the help of Lubin, and now Lubin will clap one. Campbell makes a save, not sure where it is. As Childress comes in to help out. Kopinski now getting it out of the zone. Having to tag up for offsides are the Aggies. And a turnover now will spring the Miners. Across, he has an empty net, Simpson. Oh, and what a play in front of the net. And it's Ritchie who redirects it home, and it's 4-3.
Ended up being Richie Rich. Ended up getting the goal for the Miners. They're claw back into this one, only down 1 goal now. But it was a little too over-aggressive by Pritchard of, again, really trying to cut that angle down. And once that happens and you come out of your crease like that, you're really susceptible of once that pass is made and that puck is slid over to the other side, it's a lot harder for you to fight to that other post and end up being an open net for the Miners to put this one in.
The Miners now working their way back from a 3-goal deficit as Jaden Ritchie narrows it to a 1-goal gap, and the Aggies now on their heels. Cutshall. Walton throws that one on and glove down as we near 5 minutes left in the middle frame.
Again, for UTEP to come back into this hockey game where it looked like they were down and out early in the second period, down 3 goals coming into it. It's been great character shown so far by UTEP and showing that they really deserve to be here, as well as a program deserve to be here. Great job by the coaching staff, Tom Herman, and his assistant coach, Christopher Russell-Mullen.
That one by the Miners. Duncan comes in. He'll reverse it to his D partner, just chipping it off the glass. And now it's ahead to Sanka. Jonathan Sanka just skips away from his stick. Second chance, he'll re-corral it and send it behind. And the Miners get the puck. Terrace behind the net. Gets some help from Sanka, working at short side, trying to find the shot. Pritchard saves it. Matthew Sanka re-corrals. Down to brother Jonathan. Jonathan fights off the stick check. The Aggies can't clear it, though. Some hard work by the Miners. Behind his net is Doyle. As the Aggies try to make a quick breakout, alleviate some pressure, and they do. Decker to Cutshall. He'll send it across to McKechnie. McKechnie keeps it in. Throws it on frame. Campbell will stick it away as he had Cutshall waiting right in the weeds on the back post. Sanka delaying it along the half wall. And it'll be Duncan who emerges with the puck. Duncan off the glass, takes a hard check, but appears to be no worse for the wear. Skying in into the neutral zone. The Miners not the smartest of plays and allows the Aggies to come back as Lubin fires one, and that just missed the net. O'Brien giving chase, reverses, nobody there. And that'll be sent all the way down the ice, but Simpson will be the first one there. No icing. As Simpson waits for reinforcements, Saucin one far post, and that wouldn't go through. Aggies break it up. And come back, Lubin into the left corner. 3:15 left in the second period. 4-3 Aggies. Up to Witter, the lone man in for UTEP. And he'll fight off a check, but he loses his stick. And that affords the Aggies a couple precious seconds to break it out. They had a little trouble, but they finally get it out. A good back check by Ritchie as he lays a big hit on O'Brien. And now Childress puts his man down. And bodies are flying everywhere. UTEP, and that shot goes up. Whacked away over the head of Pritchard. My goodness. Things are really interesting. Aggies in the neutral zone. Childress gets it. As they tag up. Down to 2 minutes on the clock. That'll be whistled down on an icing. The Miners right now 30 shots on frame. And we aren't even through the second period yet. The Aggies did a good job on their end though. Making things respectable. They're up to 19 shots. That one skied up by the Aggies, and Brett, I think that got stuck up in the insulation.
Yeah, I think it did. Great physicality being shown by both teams. Almost like they're playing bumper cars out there. Unbelievable. Pritchard throwing his weight around. Definitely can see what it means to both teams.
That shot gloved down by Campbell. 1:45 left. The Miners getting that Sanka line back out on the ice. So they have been real spark plugs this period. Sanka chips it up. They'll get it in across the blue line, send it in behind. Farr trying to get after it. He'll try to stick it away. The Miners, a good job to body it, keep it in the offensive zone. Working behind the net, 1:17 on the clock. Terrace tries to make a move. But Farr will be the one, he'll back it, hand it down through the neutral zone. And Duncan will chip that one. Just misses the netting and kept alive by the Miners. Under 60 seconds left as Sanka will send it in. The Miners, with a tired group, get a change behind the play. Terrace trying to keep things alive, and he does. Gets it to Simpson. Simpson in the slot, fires one right off the noggin of Pritchard. A good activation at the point to keep it in by Foggia. Down low, Simpson around one. Sends it across the shot, and it gets redirected up into the netting as the goaltender Campbell is almost to the bench for the extra man. A penalty behind the play.
Pressure was on there for the Aggies. Having a tough time trying to handle that puck. Pritchard had to make a couple stops. Simpson had a great opportunity. And UTEP right now are going to be on the man advantage for the rest of this period, about 33 seconds and change. Maybe they can return the favor back to Utah State and score that goal near the end of this period.
That would certainly help out the Miners' cause. Witter keeps it in at the point. Down low to Simpson, back to Witter. He'll wrist one. Pritchard saves it. It gets knocked down and cleared. Another great chance for UTEP. They just couldn't find the rebound. Campbell throws one down. Witter in the Witter in the offensive zone. Couldn't find his man, right over his head. As the Aggies clear it all the way down with 3 seconds left. That should do it for this middle frame. And an exciting period saw the Aggies go ahead early and really get a stranglehold on the game, but credit to UTEP for battling back into this game. A couple big goals by Duncan and Ritchie, and it's only a 1-goal game going into the third.
Yeah, definitely up for grabs for both teams. It's going to be game on in that third period. And again, UTEP's already shown a 1-goal lead isn't going to fault them at all, or isn't going to have them not face the adversity and try to claw back in this hockey game. It's going to be interesting to see how Utah State's going to handle it with having a 3-goal lead, now having that shortened, to see when the pressure's on how they're going to be able to handle it as we're going down the wire into the third period.
Utah State is the higher-seeded team coming into this tournament. The Miners, however, sporting a nifty record of their own with some big goal scorers on the team, and it'll be interesting to see who seizes this one in the third period. We'll be back in 15 minutes, folks. Don't go anywhere. Things are just heating up in the first game of this Western Regional Tournament here on ASU YouTube. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, in Oceanside Ice Arena here in balmy Tempe, Arizona. I'm Niall Cooper, my partner Brett Vaughn. We're going to bring you what should be an exciting period of hockey as we start the final 20 minutes, what could be the final 20 minutes of a close hockey game between the UTEP Miners and the Utah State Aggies. The Aggies sporting a lead. They have not surrendered the lead since they gathered it early in the first period, Brett. And although they opened it up quite wide in the second, the Miners a good job getting themselves back into this game.
Yeah, UTEP really looked like a new team out in that second period. Had a little more jump to their game and was able to really anticipate the puck and where it was going a lot better than Utah State was.
Simpson will work it back to the point to Kopinski. Back to Simpson. The Miners on an abbreviated power play here. 50 seconds left on that man advantage. Witter, Simpson back to Witter. He rips one right off the pipe. An absolute missile from Witter goes right off of the post. And UTEP comes close early. They're not done yet, as it's Simpson working out of the corner. He'll skate up top. Wrist one, that redirected. A good tip by Kopinski, but Pritchard was there to answer that redirection. The Miners keep it in. Kopinski, wrist one, looking for another redirection. Behind the net off the stick of Ritchie. Simpson across, and Ritchie on the back post as he almost got a good feed from Witter just off the heel of his stick. That shot from the point catches Childress on the ankle. The Miners keeping it alive. Childress in front of the net. Ritchie couldn't find him. The Miners send it behind the net. Ritchie will keep it alive as the Miners change behind the play. UTEP on the front foot early in the third period. Witter looking for Simpson in the slot. He finds him, but Simpson had 3 Aggies around him, and they clear the puck out. And now the Aggies can finally get a change as those penalty killers surely are tired. 2 minutes into the period. Simpson digs it out. A long shift for Simpson. And Foggia will collect that. Up to Witter. They tag up. Witter sends one in. Pritchard behind his net will knock it down. And he'll reverse it. No high touch on the play. Now Utah State will bring it in. Decker drops it to Kirk Vliet. Cutshall! And he'll throw it hard low, and that just misses the net. Sanka tries to send it into the corner. Fans on it. And now Decker, he tries to make a nifty play at the blue line. But he'll end up giving possession away to the Miners. Sanka between the legs to Terrace. Terrace tries to toe drag. He will in the corner to Sanka looking for the slot. Nobody there. That'll be sent down by McKechnie. Should have been an icing. No call. The goalie Campbell is down now. And Brett, hard to tell what happened. It looked like a bit of a flyby as the Aggies were trying to beat out that icing call, and Campbell looks to be in a bit of distress now.
Yeah, I'm not sure as the pressure was on with that one-man forecheck from the Aggies. Ended up hurrying the issue for UTEP. And I don't know if it was his own man or maybe a forechecker for the Aggies ends up bumping into the goaltender Campbell for the UTP.
Angus Campbell, the workhorse for the Miners this season, as he has appeared in 17 games. On the bench, backing him up tonight, is John-Luc Prstyko, the Toronto, Ontario native. He's played in 10 games this year. Only played about half as many minutes as Campbell. But after getting checked on by The Arizona State trainer, Jacob Campbell, appears to be no worse for the wear. He'll get his helmet back on and get a little bit of water and push on for the Miners. 16:40 left in the third period. The Aggies win the draw. They'll throw it into the corner. Childress, the first one behind the net. Gets it to Perez. Perez will try to get it out. Ball keeps it in for the Aggies. Childress now laying the check in front. And a good chance for the Aggies. But Campbell is there to answer, and a good save, an important save for the Miners. And that keeps it a one-goal game.
Definitely a save to make sure that he's okay and alert. Campbell definitely looks like he is. Again, playing 17 games, sporting that 15-1 record, very impressive.
Offensive zone draw for the Aggies. Kirk Fliette wins it in the corner now. O'Brien after it. Referee with his arm up will blow the whistle, and we have a slashing penalty here. And that will go to the stocky Childress as he bangs his stick going into the penalty box. He's not happy at all with the call. And the Aggies now a chance to reopen the lead to 2. Ball at the point. Tried to reverse it to his D partner. Couldn't find Fernandez. Kirk Fliette will get it in for the Aggies. A good move. He gets a hard check on the half wall. Keeps it alive, though. Works his way to Fernandez. He'll wrist one! And Campbell outstretched, gets his glove on it just enough. The Aggies in the corner. Cutshall whips it down low. Lubin back to Cutshall through his legs, and it's Fernandez at the right point to Ball up at the top of the blue. Finds Kirk Fliette, and he'll fire it short side off the side of the net. Lubin keeps it alive. Cutshall up to Ball in his skates. He'll try to work it across, but a good forechecking effort by the penalty killer Witter, and they'll get it out into the neutral zone, and the Aggies will have to touch up. Sanka after it, just kept in by Fernandez. He'll send it to Ritchie, and Ritchie will sky one down the ice. Almost found Simpson as he was cherry picking. With 45 seconds left on the penalty, Cutshall will try to get it ahead for the Aggies, and that'll be chipped up into the stands for a stoppage.
A few good chances by Utah State, but again, I think they're really lethargic when they have this man advantage, having a little too fancy of a pass as we saw to open that power play. There was a defenseman, Jonathan Ball, with a spinorama behind the back, backhand pass at his own blue line. With them being the last man back, a little lackadaisical. And for me, they just need to take this game by the scruff of the neck when they have this advantage.
O'Brien delays, gets some help from Decker. Back up to the point. Some good passing. Farr will send one in front as he was looking for Walton to get a stick on that, and Campbell makes another save.
Okay, 19 seconds left on this man advantage. UTEP might be able to sneak a guy out of the box. It's going to be Childress coming out. And it's going to be important for Utah State to have communication with their goalie and the bench to let the guys on the ice know of when that man's going to come out for UTEP.
This face-off will come out of the zone. Into the neutral zone now. And that'll mean the Miners are a very good shot at finishing off this penalty kill. And Witter will just hack that one all the way into the corner. And that should take most of the time off the clock, unless the Aggies can hurry. Walton in the offensive. He has a man looking for it on the back post as he couldn't get the pass through. Witter the other way. Witter with his head up. Fires one short side, trying to catch Pritchard off guard. And now Pritchard will just cover it up with 14 minutes exactly left.
Although that shot from Witter was on a short angle shot, not really a good enough angle to really test the goalkeeper from there, it's still a great play by him, because what that allows him to do is really gain zone possession by freezing the goaltender to make the save and now be able to operate off this offensive zone draw.
That shot over Pritchard and into the corner. Keeping it alive is Lipinski. Firing it. Now back to the point. Kopinski. Down low, Witter can't get the shot through. Ritchie can't beat Ball to the puck. And Ball will do a good job to skate it out. No call, he comes down into the slot now. Back and forth they go, and what a pretty goal that is. Tic-tac goal, and it's a tie hockey game.
UTEP again, they're able to establish that forecheck. And again, beautiful puck movement by this group of five. Again, it's their top horses with Simpson and Ritchie at the helm. And for UTEP, have been able to complete the comeback, but again, the job's not done yet. It's 4-4 in this third period, and again, it's anybody's game. UTEP cannot get their foot off the gas, and they still have to keep pursuing and playing the way they have in order to come back in this hockey game.
Simpson credited with the goal. Ritchie with the assist. Ritchie in on another goal as he got the one that made it a one-goal game for UTEP back in the second period. And we may be going beyond 60 minutes tonight, folks. We have yet to see. There's still plenty of hockey left in this third period, but we're finally back into a tie game. The Miners working their tails off to get to this point. And Ritchie in on those last couple goals. As we mentioned, Simpson, he's had a good night too. Been a real offensive force.
Yeah, it definitely has been. And Simpson, just a staggering amount of points, 110 coming into this hockey game in the regular season. Definitely shows why, is because of his great hockey sense out there, being able to read the play and dissect where to put the puck.
Terrace into the corner. He has Sanka with him. Sanka will come in behind the play. Gets it to Terrace. Trying to get it to Matthew Sanka. Duncan will step in from the point and keep it alive. And Pritchard will stop that and get a whistle with 12:44 left.
Utah State's going to have to be aware of when Duncan's out there on the ice. It's going to be the job of whoever that winger that's going to be covering the points to really keep an eye on him, because, again, he's already scored once today. And it's also a great opportunity for UTEP of where they can generate scoring chances from the point. And so that weak side winger is going to have to be alert.
Ritchie bodies his man. Up against the board, Simpson comes to help out. The Miners try to dig it out. A 3-on-1 advantage they have, but the Aggies are the ones who clear it. Looking for the home run pass, he finds Kirkviet. And Kirkviet will just fire one on to Campbell, as Childress gave the captain of the Aggies a hard ride behind the play. And it looks to be a penalty assessed against Childress, and he'll go back into the box. Once again, very unhappy with the call, as the captain for the Aggies is slow to get up, but appears to be all right. And Brett may be a little overzealous from the big defenseman for UTEP, and that's going to hurt them. They're going to go back on the penalty kill.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a roughing call. And again, at this point in the hockey game, every time we inch an inch closer to the end of it and we're still tied, it only magnifies how big that next goal is going to end up being, and now UTEP is going to be on the penalty kill.
The Aggies win the draw. Getting it over to Fernandez. He'll have to collect it. Sends it down low. Spinning is Lubin. Farr wants it up at the top of the point. He'll have to wait. As Kopinski's after it, and a good job to clear it out for the Miners. As the penalty's already a quarter of the way killed.
Again, Utah State's going to really have to penetrate and force UTEP to try to answer them and respond in the defensive zone.
A lazy pass from Fernandez, and the entry for the Aggies will be delayed. O'Brien in now, wheeling, sending it behind. Kirk Vliet. He'll try to fire one with traffic. It won't go through. Fernandez now spins and fires one. Cutshall in the slot, tried to get a stick on it. Farr to Kirk Vliet. He'll rip one off of the gut of Cutshall and goes behind the net. Still nothing on frame. And another block by the Miners, and they send it out. That's 3 blocks, if my math is correct, just on that sequence alone, Brett. And great for Campbell. He doesn't have to worry about making any saves.
Definitely is. When those men in front are able to pay the price and be able to block those shots, makes it a lot easier on the goaltender.
Sanka coming back the other way. Couldn't get his handle on the pass. Otherwise might have had an opportunity on net. Nonetheless, we are at 25 seconds left on the power play for the Aggies. And while the Aggies have had a few good looks, the Miners penalty killers have been there, blocking shots and getting in the way of the passing lanes. The Aggies having a heck of a time just gaining it through the neutral zone. And as the last seconds tick off, another big kill by the Miners. Aggies getting it into the slot, nobody there. And here come the Miners. Sanka on his weak side, he'll backhand it in front. He had Terrace charging to the front of the net. That'll get whistled down as Terrace gets bodied. And the Miners taking that penalty killing momentum that they earned and bringing it back the other way.
They definitely did. Once they brought it back the other way, it was no secret. It was one of the brothers. It was Jonathan Sanka on his backhand coming up the right side of the ice and saw he had 2 men just bombing right in front of the crease of the goaltender Pritchard and just wanted to get that puck there and see what happened.
Childress back on the ice after that penalty. His shot won't go through. And the Aggies might have had a chance, but Lubin and Kirkvliet couldn't get on the same page. Simpson behind the net. He gets a hard ride. Childress pinches, keeps it in. Witter to Simpson, and he can't get it on frame. Childress will fire that one through traffic and will be gloved down by Pritchard.
Again, unfortunate for Simpson. He knows where to be in the right spot on the ice when the play is developing, but he just healed that shot right in front, a golden opportunity, and didn't even get the puck to the net.
Witter wins it. Simpson will fire one. As Simpson gives a little bit of lip service to McKechnie, but might be biting off a little more than he can chew. Witter against Cutshall. Cutshall wins it. Behind the net now is Doyle. Reverses to Farr. He has McKechnie in front and opts to chip it right to center ice. And eventually Doyle comes out with it. Simpson looks off the pass, gets Witter. Witter tries to get in behind, he will. But a good job by McKechnie to body him off the puck. And the Aggies will simply clear it out of the zone. You can feel both teams trying to tighten it down a little bit. Neither team wants to give away the game-winning goal as we are into the latter stages of this game. Perez in the corner. Vanderswijn, a good job. He dragged the foot and kept things on sides, but Foggia can't get to the point in time to keep it in. Lauer and Lullier in after it. Foggia now. He had trouble getting that pass up the boards, and it's kept in. And ultimately, it's a pop fly off of the stick of ball and a whistle.
Again, a perfect 8 minutes left on the board in this 4-4 game. You're going to be seeing from both teams really putting out the guys that they've noticed that have been really doing well in this game, and as well as this season specifically, of really putting out their big horses they want out there, and the coaching staff for both teams can really trust.
Accordingly, we see the Sanka line out for the Miners. As they have appeared to age like a fine wine. They've gotten better with every shift this game. Meanwhile, the Aggies with some trust in their depth lines. The Walton line is out right now. Walton will slash it behind the net. Foggia up to Sanka. Now to Terrace. Terrace shakes off the hip check. He'll get after it. The two Sankas in. They force it to the point. Duncan down low to Sanka. Matthew over to Jonathan. Back post! He had Foggia, but he couldn't get the shot off. A great pass by Sanka. And the Miners keep it alive at the point. But ball strips it from Sanka's stick. And the Aggies now a chance to get out of trouble after a great chance goes begging for the Miners. .6:45 in the third period, a tie ball game. That's chipped in, no icing. Kerkvliet will backhand one. Lubin can't quite find it. Childress steps up on the giveaway in the neutral zone. He'll drop it. Ritchie can't do anything with it, and a 2-on-1 for the Aggies. McKechnie to Kerkvliet. He'll fire, and Campbell with a big glove save off the captain as he was looking for the hat-trick goal.
Again, a little too loosey-goosey in the offensive zone for UTEP. As that time it ended up being one of the defensemen to turn it over at the blue line, especially when you're either the last man back or the second to last man back. When you make a mistake, it ends up being magnified because you're the last man back, and if you end up making a mistake, no one's there back there to cover you except the goaltender, and this time the goaltender was able to cover them. Again, a big save by Angus Campbell.
UTEP coming the other way. Vanderswijn couldn't get his stick on the puck. They dig it out behind the net. Dunyas after it. Now Vanderswijn trying to reverse it. And the Aggies will clear it all the way down for an icing.
Looks like it's going to be no timeout being called by the Utah State head coach, CJ Westlake, leaving his players out there, although they're a little bit tired. Looks like it's going to be another icing call as the Aggies weren't able to gain the center ice center ice line, only 1 or 2 steps away from trying to be able to do that. And again, that's an undisciplined play of you only having to do 1 or 2 more strides to be able to allow your teammates to go off for the change, but instead you don't want to take the hit and do it a little too early. You end up having another icing to defend.
The Miners would like to take advantage as it's Simpson and Ritchie in the corner. Simpson trying to get it out. Farr has him pinned against the boards. Witter to Simpson. Cutshaw gets it. A good kick and keep at the point by Kopinski. And Ritchie will just fire it. Pardon me, that was Witter. Ritchie was going to the net. But it's kept in once again. Ritchie now. He'll wrist one that goes just wide. Witter can't get the rebound. And McKechnie will come the other way.
Utah State able to escape there as UTEP had it for a good 30, 45 seconds in that offensive zone. Probably the best chance ended up coming to Jaden Ritchie, but that wrist shot that he had at the high slot misses the net.
.420 left in the third. Who will come out on top? We have yet to see. Both teams right now playing it a little cautiously. Terrace without a stick. He'll try to kick it to a teammate as he finds Sanka. Matthew trying to drop it to his brother Jonathan. Couldn't get there. Fogia activates and sends one to the net where Ball can clear it for the Aggies. And now Kirk Bliet comes the other way. He'll fire one, that rebound, and they call it a goal! Utah State, and that one ends up in the back of the net of the Miners, and it's 5-4 Aggies.
Again, Utah State dangerous all night on the rush attack. And ended up being the Aggies players just barreling to the front of the net and was able to pick up the rebound and find it. And again, it wasn't the prettiest of goals, but it doesn't matter at this point in postseason, and it's a 5-4 Aggies lead.
And Brett, watching that play happen live, you could see the captain for the Aggies was just trying to fire it on net for a rebound. It hits the right shoulder of the goaltender, Campbell. He kicks the rebound up into the crease, and it was the Aggie player who charged the net that ends up going off of what looked to be his shoulder or chest. And in the net, the referee emphatically started pointing for a goal right away as Campbell looked to be a bit of collateral damage in the whole situation.
Yeah, and it looks like one of the head referees is having a word with the head coach of UTEP, Tom Herman. Duncan also arguing his case to the referees in their crease, but it looks like that goal was not going to be called back. And again, UTEP's going to be down again in this hockey game.
And that's Keegan O'Brien with the goal being deemed an unassisted goal. O'Brien, he's been everywhere tonight for the Aggies. And he gets a key one late in the third to put them ahead. Looking for more of the Aggies, and they get it! A beautiful goal right off the draw from Drew Decker. And the Aggies now up 6-4.
Look like it being Utah State attacking UTEP while they're still have that goal that they just gave up in their minds and not really alert to the present moment on what was at stake when they dropped the puck again. and Utah State capitalized, and now with that insurance marker, they have to feel very comfortable with about 3 minutes and 30 seconds left to close this one out.
And a little bit of anger boiling over right now for UTEP Red as Vanderswin will go to the box. And you can tell it started before that last goal as both Ritchie and Childress stepped up in the neutral zone. This was when it was 5-4 and tried to deliver a hit at the same time. Childress coming way out of position in doing so. And that's what led to that 2-on-1 opportunity the other way for the Aggies. And now UTEP really just going over the edge, and they're certainly not happy. A tough one to take. A couple late goals in the third. You battle back to make it a 4-4 game, and suddenly you're down again. That's tough for them to take.
Although you're down 2 goals with about 3 minutes and 30 seconds left, again, we've seen some crazy things happen in hockey, and it is doable to be able to, again, tie it up. UTEP came down three goals earlier in this hockey game and was able to come back and tie this game up a few minutes ago in this third period, and they're just losing their composure right now. Still visibly frustrated on that goal. That was a go-ahead goal for Utah State. With them losing that composure, they're just, again, just keep shooting themselves in the foot, not allowing themselves at least an opportunity to try and come back and tie this game.
And we heard a misconduct dished out by the referees to UTEP. Couldn't quite get a read on who got the misconduct. I believe it might have been Hayter. But nonetheless, a power play for the Aggies as they have a chance to pour it on late. And add to this 6-4 lead. Kicked ahead. Coming back is Kirk Vliet. He'll send it across. Knocked down, and Simpson comes the other way. Simpson on a breakaway for UTEP. He shimmies, and it's off the pipe. A big save by Pritchard. Second chance opportunity. Kopinski will fire. That one blocked. Ball, not sure where it is. To Simpson. In front. Ritchie delays. Back to Simpson. And what a block in front of the net. I can't believe that didn't go in, as Utah State laid out, blocked it on the goal line, and Brett, somehow UTEP could not get a goal.
Unbelievable. It was a sprawling block of the defenseman, number 8, Brett Fernandez from San Jose, California, as his goaltender Pritchard was again down and out of his crease, and he was the last line being able to stop that puck from going into the wide open cage. And it was a great commitment, defensive play for them to be able to keep this game at a 2-goal lead. It looks like it might have been a delayed call on the play for Utah State. And it's not going to be 4-on-4 action, as it's going to be Keegan O'Brien heading to the box for the Aggies.
And Brett, I'm still in absolute awe that they could not score. First, the breakaway for Simpson. Pritchard, a huge save. And then on that second opportunity, Simpson and Ritchie, we saw it earlier on the UTEP goal that tied it up. A little tic-tac-toe. They tried to make it happen once again. It wouldn't go, and then that next opportunity, a beautiful block in front of the net, just laying out, doing all he could do, was that San Jose native in front of the net. Brett Fernandez, he's had a good year offensively, providing some power, some goals, some assists from the back end, but nothing bigger in this season for the Aggies than that block on the goal line. And Brett, you mentioned the composure for UTEP and how we've seen stranger things happen. If they get a goal right there, it's a one-goal game with just under 3 minutes left. And you can feel that this game isn't quite done quite yet.
Yeah, it definitely is, and it hasn't been that way all game. Again, now we're going to have 4-on-4 play. At least UTEP's going to have even numbers out there, so if they decide to pull the goalie, which I imagine it looks like they already have during that timeout, they're now going to be able to have a man advantage against Utah State rather than if they were just 4-on-5 and they pull the goalie to make it 5-on-5. They have that extra guy out there.
Simpson across to Ritchie. He fires at far post, and that goes whistling wide of the net. From the seat of his pants, trying to clear it. The Aggies couldn't get it out. Simpson now, and that's off the pipe. Another post for UTEP, and they are inches away from scoring and narrowing this lead to 1 right now. Simpson, a great pass to Duncan. He'll fire. Pritchard's there to answer. And the Aggies right now with their patented bend but don't break defense maintaining this lead.
Again, right now, if you have to go in both teams' minds, you think UTEP with 2:17 on the clock, you think this game is just ticking by quicker and quicker. And then for Utah State, you feel like you're playing a game in molasses right now with the time clock, that this game can't end soon enough.
Ritchie fires, and that just missed the upper corner. Duncan keeps it at the point. Over to Ritchie. Back to Duncan. He'll delay. Shoot, that's knocked down in front of the net. Witter after it. Kopinski down low to Ritchie. Ritchie looking, gets it to Witter. He'll fire. That's kicked wide. Simpson couldn't get the rebound. Simpson fakes the drop pass, looks for a shot with traffic. Blocked in front by the Aggies. Look to be ball. Duncan down low to Ritchie. Ritchie a little gassed in the corner, just trying to dig it out. He will. But a good stick by Fernandez puts it into the corner. 90 seconds left in the game. The Aggies need 2. Trying to get 1 on the back post is Witter. And the Aggies will send it all the way down the ice. They are short-handed, so there's no icing. And UTEP will have to wheel it all the way back in the offensive zone. Duncan in, drops it to Ritchie. Over to Simpson, he'll fire. And Pritchard never saw it, but good positioning gets the save. 60 seconds on the clock. Simpson now fires it. Comes back to him. Kopinski. Simpson tried to get it. Pritchard wouldn't let it go through. Lots of traffic in front of the net. Just trying to shoot short side is Simpson. Pritchard saves it. And there will be casualties behind the play as both teams get to know each other a little bit better.
If the linesmen are in there having to assert themselves, as again, you could even hear it from the Utah State bench yelling at their guys that we're going to need you guys tomorrow, and if you end up taking any dumb penalties, especially near the end of this game with under a minute left, that it might put them behind the 8 ball going into tomorrow's games.
And quite disgruntled for the Miners is their goal-scoring leader, Austin Simpson. As we mentioned, astronomical numbers, 38 goals, 72 apples, 110 points coming into tonight's game. And he's done just about everything he can do to get him back in this game. And with all the chances they had, UTEP could have had 3 or 4 goals in the last 3 minutes of this game. But nothing would go, either big saves by Pritchard, some big blocks by the defense, or an occasional clank off the post.
Yeah, and just a reminder for you folks tuning in looking for the Cal State Northridge Montana State game, that's going to be coming up in just about once this game's concluded. And just to let you guys know, is what's going to happen is we're going to end up ending this broadcast, and we're going to be ending up starting a new one. So just be on the lookout for that on our YouTube page that you're tuned into this game right now.
And as things get sorted out, UTEP will keep the goalie pulled. 5 skaters for the Aggies. As we approach the final 30 seconds of this game. A little over eager. And offsides are the Miners. That one sent in by the Miners. Trying to get after it is Sanka. They dig it out. Childress can't win the battle. Duncan tries to keep it in at the point. And with 16 seconds left on the clock, we'll have another penalty. Yet again, Childress sits for 2. And Brett, if Utah State wins this game, then that automatically means that they will be playing MSU Denver tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough matchup, whoever's going to win this one. Metro State, one of the top teams in the region. Imagine probably tuning in at their hotel tonight watching this game. Just trying to see what they're in for tomorrow.
.4 on the clock. Aggies just trying to kill it. Decker sends it down low. Terrace comes the other way for UTEP. He'll try to make a move. And the Aggies get a huge win in the first game of this Western Regionals tournament over the UTEP Miners. As the Miners come back, and Pat Campbell on the back as he played a big game for them tonight, made some big saves, took a few hard knocks along the way, but kept pushing. And the handshake line will ensue.
Yeah, great season by Texas El Paso. I think you can safely say exceeded expectations of what they're going to accomplish coming into the 2018-2019 season for such a new program. And again, hats off to them as well.
Some wonderful action in this first game tonight. Thank you all for tuning in as we bring you inside the broadcast booth here in Oceanside Ice Arena. I'm Niall Cooper. We'll give you a quick recap of this game before we make the quick transition to our second game of the evening, Brett. And a 6-4 final for the Aggies. And when this game started, I don't think either one of us would have thought that the Aggies were going to be coming out of this one on top. But credit to them for sticking to their guns and grinding away at this game and ultimately coming out on top.
Yeah, again, it wasn't a pretty win by any means tonight, but again, it's something that a successful team needs to do and learn how to do, which is winning ugly, and they did just that tonight. They came out flying out of the gates. UTEP looked like they might have even had the opportunity to come out of this game with a win, and then Utah State in the second period really controlled and dominated that game, and I think in order to play against Metro State tomorrow night, they're going to have to take that second period of play and just really extend it out for the full 60 minutes. But again, give credit to UTEP for showing a lot of character, coming back down 3 goals to tie it up in the third period and gave themselves a chance at winning this game.
Yes, and as you called it, Utah State, they'd have to play a hard game to win, and they certainly did as the Miners came out early tonight, peppered Pritchard left and right, but he was there to answer the call. And Brett, as I go to our OxyPow player of the game, I think there's a few candidates that you could be picking from tonight.
Yeah, definitely could be tonight. A lot of guys up and down their lineup for Utah State did well. Again, honorable mention to Angus Campbell. He had a really good performance tonight in net for UTEP. But for me, it's going to be the defenseman number 8, Brett Fernandez. He was able to come in, especially how tight that hockey game was. I think it was 4-4. And once the goaltender Pritchard came sliding out of his net, it was a wide open cage for UTEP to be able to get the go-ahead goal. And it wasn't for Brett Fernandez going in on all fours and blocking that shot with his chest in the crease, and was able to keep the game at 4-4 and allowed Utah State to end up coming out on top.
And I certainly love that pick. I know you do. We're both San Jose natives, so good to see one of our own show up big in a huge game for Utah State as they stay alive in this Western Regional Tournament and will be playing again tomorrow afternoon. Folks, for everybody tuning in to see the Northridge game, that will be coming up in just a little bit. They're cutting the ice right now. We will be cutting the feed for this game and starting up on the Northridge game once we are ready for the pregame skate. That will come to you shortly, so stick around on the YouTube page, Arizona State University ACHA YouTube, for that next Western Regional game. I'm Niall Cooper. My partner is Brett Vaughn. We thank you for tuning in for this first game between Utah State and UTEP. Again, the final 6-4 Aggies. We'll see you in just a little bit for that next game.